Notts County Talk. You are joining us for episode 124 of the Pavis perspective on what in Nottingham is a very, very rainy night. It's looking very bleak out there. Tom, how are we?
Can't wait for the season to be over, let's be honest. I got home from work today and I thought, not that I don't love the Pavis perspective, but I got home and I thought just two more episodes related to this season, which I never thought I'd be saying about this season. But thank goodness there's only two more episodes to actually talk about games, because the false hope we got after those two results, they weren't against poor teams, were they? Let's be honest. They're against playoff chasing teams. But we got a serious humbling on Tuesday night.
Yeah, we really did. We really did. As always, we are sponsored by Better Bytes Computers Repair and Sales. If you haven't already, check them out. They're a fantastic company run by a Notts fan. We're both actually using laptops that are powered by him at the moment. Fantastic. Just fantastic stuff. I suppose we should probably get into sort of the depths of Stockport, really, shouldn't we, Tom? There's quite a lot to talk about. I feel like I say that like every week, and I think that every week. When we put the tweet out before, it's like lots to talk about, but there genuinely is like a 7-goal game. So many things happened. I think we missed some key players that we assumed were just going to be in the lineup, such as Makari and Jatta. But I just want to start by talking about sort of the opening 15-20 minutes when I felt like, we were looking good, weren't we?
Yeah, we certainly matched them. Like, I thought the opening 20 minutes was fairly boring, if I'm honest. And that's something I haven't been able to say about a Notts game. We had a decent chance with Maka, but in terms of a Notts game, I don't think it was very interesting. And that was, in a way, it's a bit refreshing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I thought we looked quite good in that sort of. I know you're saying it's boring, but we sort of nullified them, didn't we? And we sort of did carve one or two decent chances out, really. And look, that Maka chance, it was really on a plate, wasn't it? So if that goes in, it's a completely different game. But obviously that's obviously not the way it went, and we go into halftime 3-0 down, which was just, it was crazy.
It completely. I don't know. I feel like people are probably watching, or they might be watching our episodes and thinking, well, you can't be buzzing last week and then this week be talking down like you need to get rid of players, because we're going to talk about that a little bit later. Like, I'm going to openly say that there's certain players that have to go for next season. And I'll say it on tonight's video in a little bit when we get into it. But people will be thinking, oh, you can't talk about 2 wins on the spin and predict a win against champions-elect Stockport, and then all of a sudden, you're talking about letting players go. You can, because that's Notts right now. We're on a knife edge, and we're still on a knife edge. Yes, we were talking about if we got a draw against Stockport and then we got the wins against Colchester and Forest Green, finishing the season 5 unbeaten. Now the mood has switched, and you're talking about finishing the season winless in the last 3. Colchester put 5 passes at their place, and all they're going to want to do is guarantee survival. And then we go to Forest Green, who are relegated. Well, you only have to look at the history of football to see how dangerous an already relegated team can be. Sometimes already relegated teams across the country have a say in title races. They pick points up here and there against playoff chasing teams. They're not going to want us to go there and just turn them over. Again, they scored 3 past us. We're playing 2 teams that combined scored 8 goals past us, and we scored 8 past them. So, I feel very. I tweeted it on, and I knew I'd get a reaction. I tweeted that I was quite looking forward to the game against Stockport, and I was. But now I just feel completely deflated again, because, like I say, we're on such a knife edge this season, where the season could tip one way or another. What's the point in getting 2 really good results, 1 away from home, if we're then going to go and get absolutely hammered at home by a side we should be aspiring to get results against because of where we wanted to be this season?
I agree, and I'm not sure if people watching tonight have watched the All Black and White, But sort of at half time in the vlog, I was saying, as much as Stockport are a good side, I do think we'd been hard done by with the goals that we did concede by half time. Obviously, the Baldwin slip, the penalty, and then the big deflection. If we'd been carved open and it was 3 goals from open play, and we were really, really on the back foot, you can kind of accept it a little bit more. But because that opening sort of 15-20 minutes, and then sort of that happens, and it just absolutely took the wind out of our sails. And let's be honest, this sort of, well, I suppose the whole season really, we've been a confidence team, haven't we? So as soon as we sort of concede 1 or 2, it seems to be we concede more. And I think that there's a whole host of problems that need to be fixed. We'll say it again. I'll say it again. Goalkeeping has to be one of those. I don't really think Ashley Hammond was the issue on Tuesday night, but I think constantly changing them, and then all of a sudden he comes in and then he's got a span of 3 games. It doesn't help. Like, it really doesn't help the defence. But yeah, it was gutting. It was gutting to see us conceding in that manner. But I think on the night, you make your own luck, don't you? And Stockport that night, were crowned champions of the league. You just felt like it was going to go their way, didn't you? When that first goal went in.
It's interesting because I was speaking to my dad about this, and a lot of you that have been with the channel for a long time will know Neil on the channel. And at half time, if you watched our It's All Black and White episode, George is sort of saying exactly what he's just said here. If he was hard done by with the goals, deflection, penalty that wasn't a penalty, etc. And I said, I think we've been utterly embarrassed. They swatted us away like we weren't even there. And my dad had the exact same view as me. But at half time, I think Neil was watching on iFollow. Neil had the exact same view as you. So, I just think to be 3 down at half time is criminal. And there's only so many times we can say, like, oh, we've been unlucky. We've been unfortunate.
Absolutely.
Because I don't know, it's a habit. We're getting into a habit of being unlucky and unfortunate. And I've granted, so many times this season, we've genuinely been unlucky. We actually have been unlucky in a lot of occasions. But I just think 3 down at half time. And I know, judging by social media, a lot of people had left. Medellin after the 4th goal. If you watch the video, sorry, I mentioned the video a lot. If you watch the It's All Black and White, there's a clip where I said, right, second half, whatever we do, don't get battered. And the next clip is the Stockport fans celebrating the 4th, which defending for the 4th is a joke.
Yeah.
An absolute joke. To be turned inside like that, I could have predicted that he was going to cut inside. I might not have been able to stop him, but I'm not a professional footballer. I could have predicted he was cutting inside. Disaster all round. And what I'm really keen that I'm not going to do, and to get the point across, is don't let the 2-goal fight back fool you at all. Don't let it fool you, because they were cruising at 4-0, thinking about being champions. One of them was a fantastic finish from Crowley. The other one, to be fair, we carved them open, but don't let it fool you that we were anywhere close to Stockport. We were miles off, absolutely miles off. George, what about the penalties we've been giving away, though? That is
massive.
17?
I think it is 17. Yeah, I'm sure I read online somewhere that it is 17. But you look at that stat alone is very concerning. That shows. Look, you're going to give penalties away. It's just the nature of the game. But that volume is crazy, really. And essentially, it's going to cost you a massive amount of points, isn't it? Conceding 17 penalties.
Yeah. Yeah.
It shows a few things. I think it's like lack of discipline in certain moments, striking out, body positions and things like that. And don't get me wrong, there has been a few penalties this season where I thought there's no way that's a penalty. But your anomalies sort of fall outside, 17, doesn't it? So,
to be fair as well, the first penalty wasn't a penalty, and the second penalty wasn't a penalty. But do you know what? I have no sympathy for the second penalty, because we're passing it around in our 6-yard box. We deserve to give a penalty away.
Yeah.
a switched on player like a Stockport player who's they've just been crowned champions is thinking, if I nick the ball here, I'm just going to go down. Like,
do you know what's annoying as well?
Ridiculous.
In that game, we saw it sometimes in a sort of transition where we just go long. If there's no option short and it puts us under more pressure, we were just going long, even if it went out for a throw-in. I think that happened on like 3 occasions, if I remember rightly, in that game. So why in that occasion are we doing 2-3 yard passes in our 18-yard box that pile on so much pressure? And, you know, if you do that for so long, because Stockport's press was unreal. It was very, very good. They were putting us under a lot of pressure, didn't give us a lot of time in our third, really. So it was bound to happen. Whether they were going to nick it off us and score, which I suppose they did really, didn't they, for the first, or, you know, get a penalty like they did, there's an inevitability about it, isn't there?
Yeah. I don't know. For me, that was a massive game, because if we drew with Stockport or won, which wasn't going to happen, we drew or even lost marginally, 2-1, 3-2. You just think, that's going to boot our. You know, if we lost 3-2 and we put a battling performance out there and we really put it on Stockport as well as them putting it on us, I'd have left in decent spirits, you know. But we didn't. We didn't do that. And I don't know. There's a comment further up. Rich says, "Come on, lads. First goal wasn't unlucky, and the goal from the corner was awful." I don't think the first goal was necessarily unlucky. I don't know how. I've never seen a player slip as many times as Aidan Baldwin. And please put in the chat and help me and George out if you can remember. But me and George can't remember him slipping away from home. I generally can't. Every slip I think of is at Meadow Lane. I don't know.
I mean, that could sort of link back to obviously why they're doing the resurfacing and, you know, digging up the pitch and redoing the drainage and the heating system under the pitch and all that in the close season coming up. But, you know, it is a pattern that we have noticed, isn't it? We noticed it with, like, I'm saying when second or third season in the National League, why does everyone seem to fall over so much on our pitch? And that's obviously what it was.
You did say that to me.
It's the drainage issue, isn't it?
Yeah. Well,
but I mean, it's not a defence as such, because look, in that moment, he's tripped, hasn't he? And he essentially got the ball away to at least a goal scoring opportunity, which went in.
But that's a problem in his game.
Yeah, exactly. And we were saying this, wasn't we? Like, I find Baldwin extremely frustrating to watch. Not for the reason that sometimes, you know, he might make a mistake and then it leads to a goal. He's such a talented defender, but he just has those lapses where he just does the basics so wrong, and or you're a slip and he'll just underhit a pass back or something like that. And you're just thinking, because he has some games and you think, like, he's some player. Like the way he can bring the ball out, you know, he's technically as a centre back, he's very, very good. Defensively as a centre back, at the top of his game, he's very, very good. But he just has those lapses where you're just thinking, if you just switch on for the full 90 minutes, you'd be some player. Honestly, isn't that true? Or am I just losing it?
100%. 100%. He's a very, very good defender. And there was a spell this season from Harrogate away, that game, which for me was the only player, and Jody with the free kick, that came out with any sort of credit. There was that game, and for about 2 months he was faultless, and he was outstanding. But I don't know if it happened twice a season. You know, you can sort of allow it, but how can you get automatic promotion when you've got, and it's not just him with the mistakes, you've got one of your players giving away sort of 8 or 9 goals a season, one of them. I don't know how you can do it, because points cost how many? Because yes, we lost 5-2, but if that first goal doesn't go in, you don't know what happens. We could have drawn that game. I don't know. I think that's one of the positions where on form he starts at every game. He could probably start for most teams in the division as a centre back. But overall, are you going to get automatic promotion with Aidan Baldwin in defence?
Well, you definitely run the risk, don't you?
No, I don't think you are going to get it. Are you going to get playoffs? Well, we've not got playoffs now. I don't know if he can be a starter next season, and I don't think he's going to want to be here as a backup player. And that's just one player's mistakes. Penalties, you're never getting automatic promotion giving away 17 penalties. I'd love to know, this is a very obscure stat, but I'd love to know the most penalties given away by a promoted side. I'd love to know.
It's defos. Has to be.
Ian's done you here. I thought about this the other day. Your forecast for goals conceded was like 35 or 36. I'm going to treble it.
I think it was 34, wasn't it?
Was it?
Yeah, that was only for the first third of the season, though, so I'm probably not that far off when you look at it.
Wasn't that for the opening weekend?
Yeah.
We got a seventh that in the opening weekend.
Yeah.
We conceded 5. What about this then, George? John, I think we have to accept the fact we're not the team we thought we were. Stockport, on reflection, the best team in the league. We go again next season.
Yeah, I think if you look at the teams that have gone up, other than Wrexham, who will, have money in abundance to spend, probably whatever league they're in. Let's be honest.
Favourites to go up from League One next year.
Yeah, because they'll probably just sign Championship level players, won't they? And that's not me being salty in any way. That's just stating facts. Stating facts.
They signed a Championship player in the National League, Elite League.
Yeah, but I'm thinking more of Mansfield when I say this, because Stockport obviously got promoted. They came close last season, didn't they? They did really well, and obviously we're miles off where Stockport were in their first season back in the Football League. But look, they've come back, and they've gone again, and they've won the league. We've obviously got a lot more work to do, but then you look at Mansfield. Mansfield's been a work in progress for years, and it's sort of the belief. And look, they've had some devastating times in the playoffs and stuff like that, and they've bounced back from that. They've built on it, and I actually watched Cloughie's post-match interview when they got promoted, and you I think the reporter said to him, "When did you know that you were going to get promoted this season?" And he said, "The last game of the season last year at Colchester. I looked around the dressing room and I thought, these lads are going to get me promoted next year with a few added in there." And that's unreal. I mean, it's easy. I suppose it's easy to say that when you've been promoted, but it's a building progress, and it would have been absolutely amazing to get promoted this season. It really would. But then, you're left feeling like, where would we have been? We'd have to heavily invest and improve the squad. It could have been a bleak season in League One. I'm not going to say that's the wrong thing to do. But I think, if it takes 1, 2, 3 seasons to get promoted into League One, I think we'd be a lot more geared up for the season after that then. And that, I think, equates to the model that we've got in place, doesn't it? Where it's all about overachieving on the playing budget.
Yeah.
And we're competing, and we overachieved last year because we broke the record, and we went toe to toe with Wrexham. His budget was, I don't know, probably a lot more than ours the last season. But yeah, it does, doesn't it? It just boils down to recruitment, as one or two are saying now in the chat. We've got a very interesting summer ahead, that's for sure.
Did you see Dale Vince, the Forest Green owner, his tweet?
I genuinely, I think I might have him muted. They
tweeted that they've been relegated, and he quote tweeted it. Actually, it's very honest. It's a very good tweet, to be fair. He tweeted that there's no lack of investment. He tweeted that the problem was, over the last 2 years, they've got recruitment completely wrong. Because there is no lack of investment. They got is it Darbo from
Coventry?
From Coventry and Deeney. There's no lack of investment there. None at all. He said, we've just got recruitment completely wrong for 2 years. Well, not to that extent, but we're seeing what getting recruitment wrong does. It derails a season completely. we finished the season, or we're finishing the season, it looks to be, touch wood, with the top goal scorer in League Two and the player of the season, who's got 30 goal contributions. We're finishing with that. And we're going to finish lower than mid-table. That's a recruitment issue, massive recruitment issue. I think it boils down to this, and I've said it for weeks. If we'd have recruited properly in defence, we would have got promoted. That's it, simple. And I don't think there is more to it than that. If we recruited our defence better in the summer, we're promoted.
Just defence?
Just defence.
Goalkeeper?
No. I think
What about the injuries we've had as well?
No. I think if we recruit the defence properly, with the injuries we've had, we had Matty Palmer out in October. We've had games where they've scored 3-4 in those games. Yeah, I think Matty Palmer's a huge miss. Massive miss. But I also think people are pinning quite a lot on that. Quite a lot. He's a very, very good player. Exceptional. And I hope he comes back just as good. But I don't think we can pin as much on Matty Palmer being out as that. So I don't know. I think recruitment's huge. Get it wrong this summer, and then we could start to be in a bit of trouble. How would you be sat first day of the season, right? And this isn't going to happen, I hope. What would you do if we're doing the podcast for the first game of the season and we've recruited one League One defender on loan?
I wouldn't be overly impressed, but yeah, it's annoying. It's so annoying because I'm going to go back to my point I've already made. It's with Baldwin. I'm just stuck on him because he's such a good player, and you get Baldwin playing consistently. You've got a real good player in your hands. Macari as well, impressive. Cameron, I think he can be scapegoated a little bit at times.
Who's that?
Cameron.
I think he's been all right lately.
Yeah, I think he gets, like I said, I think he gets targeted a little bit at times unnecessarily. I tell you what, though, do you know when he plays left back? I love it. I think he's so good when he plays left back. Yeah. You know when he comes up the pitch a little bit more.
Can I tell you what was a massive issue?
Go on.
We finished with a back four on Tuesday night. Aaron the man on the right, Richard Brindley and Aidan Baldwin at centre back, and Kyle Cameron at left back. That screams poor recruitment. How is that? I know we've changed it up in the game, we've made subs. How is that your back four? How? You wouldn't have that as a back four. It completely nullifies Aaron the man. It makes him ineffective because he's got to be a fullback. You've got Richard Brindley, who's barely played any minutes, playing at centre back against the champions. Oof. I don't know. I agree with you, Kyle Cameron at left back. I like him there. Yeah. I'm also. I mean, we might switch to it, but we might stay with it next season, and it gives us a lot of joy. But I'm getting a bit bored of the formation. I watched Stockport attack down both wings, down the centre. We can only really attack down the wings. And as effective as it can be, it's also very one-dimensional. And they just attack from everywhere. You know, they play through the middle. I just think we don't seem to score that many, unless I'm just completely blanking out of my mind, where we haven't built up out wide. I don't know. So we'll go with that. People saying, do you think we've got defensive issues? I think we're fantastic at the back. Yeah. We have some recruitment, though. Who would you say has been massive successes in terms of recruitment this year?
Dan
Crowley.
Yeah, obvious ones. You've got Crowley, you've got Jatta, Robbo, Macari. I'm trying to think who else we bought in this season.
I think that's it. Gosling.
Look, I think there's a lesson to be learned this season. I think, do you know, on paper, a lot like the Dan Gosling signing on paper was unreal. You know, if he comes in and he's fit and he's rearing to go and the mentality is right, it could have been unbelievable. He could still be playing for us. It could have been extended and all that sort of stuff. That's all hindsight. And I've seen people listing names now. Where's the comment? I can't remember any, but it listed one or two players like Colchester and stuff like that. Look, if they've come in and they've not been able to stay fit and they might not have the sort of, they're not like sort of fitted into the group, that's going to happen. It's not like the perfect model of every single player that we bring in is going to be a world beater and he's going to be first, like starting 11 every week, and if not, they're going to be off the bench, because that's not the way it goes. And that's the same for every club. It don't matter what systems you have in place. Obviously, we have some good systems in place because, you know, our playing budget isn't, you know, I think did I read something? It's like 10th in the league, our playing budget.
Yes.
And like, we've got the top goal scorer in the league. And like you just said, you know, the player of the season. And for the first half of the season, we're obviously well up there. So as critical as you can be, and I agree, some of the players have bought in is just ridiculous. It's like we sort of have this thing where we had a success story with Jody with him being, you know, having some injuries and struggling to get back and all that sort of stuff. So it's sort of like we've sort of used that a bit more now, and it's not really working. So I think a different approach needs to be taken there for sure. But yeah, I don't think you can be overcritical, because they had the defender that brought in Macari was good. I know we had what's his name, the centre back loanee from Wolves,
Warner. Oh, Tipton.
Tipton, yeah. It didn't really materialise for him, did it? Warner as well. He's been sort of in and out of the squad. We were promised sort of a really good player, weren't we, by the Norwich fans who were sort of saying he was going to be coming in and starting.
I thought he looked okay at Mansfield away on debut,
but he's not left a lasting impression, has he?
No,
at all.
A few comments talking about Didsey.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about it.
I'm massively disappointed. I just think, I don't know if we've overused him or he's just at that stage now where his legs are completely gone. I thought he would boss the division, but he's not, has he? He's really not. One thing I would say that is a massive positive for me and a bit of a ray of light is that when Didsey and Bostock came off for the subs, one of them being Robertson, so much more lively. We had so many more. We had more legs on the pitch. I think in comment here saying Robertson and Palmer's centre mid will be up there. It will definitely be up there. Definitely be up there. And with the Didsey signing, yes, early on in the season was fantastic. But we'll be on good wages for the squad we've got. And I just think that could that have been reinvested elsewhere? Because we'd still have scored an awful lot of goals with Jody, Maka, Crowley. You know, at that time, we didn't know Scott was going to be injured either. So you had Scott in the mix. You had Super Junior Marias fit. I don't know. Look, on paper, let's be honest, I was going mad. I was loving it. David McGoldrick, 20 goals in League One, coming down to League Two. I thought it'd be good as well. And can you turn that opportunity down, George? Well, if that comes up, probably not. To get one of the top scorers from the league above. But I think he's got another year on his contract, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. It was 2 years.
Okay. Well, there we go.
But yeah, that's another case of the model, though, isn't it? As in, like you've just said, the top goal scorer from the league above. You know, you'd expect him to come down. One of the top goal scorers from the league above. You expect him to come down and really hit the ground running. Don't get me wrong; he's been okay, but he's not left a lasting impression. It's not sort of been the season that I expected from him.
No, I agree. Right, it's not all doom and gloom because we've got a couple of messages, haven't we? A couple of messages. So you might have seen on social media, Sunday, Notts County women are at Meadow Lane for their match against Lincoln. We've been down quite a few times when the women have played at Mead Lane. So get your tickets. If you go on Notts County's Twitter, it tells you how to get tickets for the game. Reasonable price for tickets as well. So yeah, if you want to go down there Sunday, hopefully they get a win after Notts lose 4-0 to Colchester. You can obviously, you can enjoy some really good football. So yeah, tickets are available. Go through the Notts website and you get those. And another bit of news, haven't we, George?
Yeah, massive, mate.
Massive bit of news. We've partnered with ECM Events for the tour that Neil Warnock is doing, and he's coming to Nottingham Playhouse on Wednesday, the 5th of June. And we've been asked to get fans' questions in and then head on stage during the show and pose a few of those questions to Neil himself. So we'll be on stage with Neil posing a few questions. So what we're going to do, keep an eye on our socials. We'll put a link out to submit your questions. They'll then be chosen, a few of those chosen to actually put to Neil Warnock. And if you'd actually like tickets to the event, I'm hearing now there's less than 60 tickets remaining. If you head onto our Twitter, you'll find the link. And what I'll do straight after this video, I'll post that link into the description of this video. But yeah, just over 50 tickets remaining for the event. But definitely keep an eye out for those for the question form to be posted, because you never know. You never know. Everyone wants the mugs. Everyone wants the mugs. We might get the mugs back if we go unbeaten for the rest of the season.
They're going on sale, Tom, aren't they? We're going to try and get some in and put some on sale. $49.99 bargain.
49. Well, they do keep drinks warm.
Unbreakable.
$49.99. That's stunning value these days.
There's nothing better you can spend $49.99
on. What about a pizza?
Yeah, a poll that's it's a good one. It's a bit of a spread. Should we go for the answers?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Let's go for it. So the best takeaway pizza, Domino's gets 31%, Pizza Hut 15%, Papa John's 10%, none of them 44%. Tom, hit me. Where do you go?
I had one of those tonight.
Papa John's.
Yeah, Papa John's.
Come on.
Superb. Finished at about 7:15. Outstanding. Domino's, used to rate it. Not a massive fan anymore. Pizza's good, but I'm going Papa John's.
Yeah, I'm completely against all three. I'm none of them.
You're quite vocal about it as well. Whenever anyone says, "Oh, I've had Domino's," you tell them about it.
Yeah,
gives you a bit of tummy, doesn't it?
It does, mate. I don't know. It's just those chains as well. Do you know if you get one from the local sort of pizzeria type place?
Yeah,
I'm all right. But if it's one of those chains where it's, on a mass production scale, they just seem to not agree with me.
Should we agree with this one?
Monaco and West Lane. Here we go.
That's what someone said.
Will
Domino's by far, half and half with some Frank's wings. Wow.
Well, tell Will, he's probably watching this, grow up, Will.
No, Will's a bit of a connoisseur,
What?
I went to Wheelstone away last season. We won 6-1. He went in. We were still on the outskirts of London. He just pulled up at some random takeaway. Went in for just a very quick nibble. Came out. The guy giving him loads of free stuff. He knows his stuff.
Yeah, but why had he done that?
He knows his stuff. Don't know.
Makes you wonder. Makes you think.
Makes you think. Does make you think. Makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Makes you think.
Makes you think about that. There we go. A lot of people, quite a few people, definitely against it. Definitely against it.
Well,
I'd have a Papa John's. I'd have the Papa John's in the Pavis. I would. New hand drives or Papa John's. I'm going Papa John's.
New hand drives.
Absolutely not.
It's not even a joke anymore. And do you know what's funny, right? People are behind it. It's a movement.
Hotly hair, that's an unreal comment. I know you're a channel member, I can't pull that up. But you got to be careful. You have to be really careful.
Makes you think.
It does make you think. Makes
Makes
you
you
wonder.
think.
Makes you think.
That's never happened to me.
I could talk about food forever. Not there's Will's comment. Not Connor.
Jeez.
Connor.
What was on the sub?
I don't know.
Let us know. Hardly hear.
Hardly
Let
what was on
us
the
know.
sub. There we go.
Wow.
A little season Derby. There's one Top Valley as well. Two in the whole country, and it's Top Valley and in Derby. Interesting. Looking at Colchester, then, I think they're going to. I think we could possibly lose to Colchester. I'm being honest. It's just such a Notts thing to do, isn't it? I think they need 1 point for safety to relegate Sutton. Are you confident? You're not confident.
I was just reading the comments here. Someone's put sorry with Top Valley. Pulling you up on your pronunciations, Tom. Am I confident? Not really.
No, he's not pulled me up on the pronunciations. Read it again.
Sorry, where? Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, he hasn't.
Thank you.
The pronunciation was bang on, Tom. I thought that, to be honest.
Disgusting. Yeah, they need. Oh, let's see. They've got a game in hand. No, they need to beat us to relegate them. Do you think? Are you confident we'll beat Colchester at home?
No.
They conceded less than us. They conceded 9 less than us.
We're so sporadic, aren't we? At the moment, it's impossible to be confident, isn't it?
They beat Crawley away. What I would say, and Dave's put, given the points, they'll relegate Sutton. Yeah, I don't mind relegating Sutton.
Nice.
What, first game of the season when that Smith was waving?
We all
relegating. Say again? No. I'm not a big fan of his either. And they beat us twice. They're going to get relegated, and they put 9 goals past us. We got 0 points from them.
That's what happens, isn't it? That's what happens.
Yeah. Not support here says in 1 week we stop Wrexham winning the title and can relegate Sutton. There we go. Do you make many changes to the team?
I think if Jatta and Macari are back, I'd definitely put those back in.
Robertson goes in for me.
Yeah. If Robinson's fit as well, put him back in. Yeah, so quite a few changes, to be fair.
I'd like to see a formation change.
Would you?
Yeah, I really would.
From the outset?
Yeah, let's go 4 at the back. There's literally nothing left to play for. There hasn't been for a few weeks, so let's experiment ahead of next season. Corey says bring on the kids. Where's Sanderson? Yeah, I haven't seen him since, I don't know, when did he last play? Did he come on against Grimsby? I don't know. Comes away from home. I'm not sure. Would you do that? Would you give youth players a chance or not?
Why not? Nothing to lose. Perhaps a lot to gain.
I would start Will Randall on the last game.
Where?
4-3-3 on the left.
Left back.
On the left wing.
I'd have put him in goal.
No, I'll put him right wing. Jody on the left.
Yeah.
Crowley just behind.
Yeah, I think I agree with you, mate. I agree. I think there's definitely a player there. Someone sat next to me, I think it might have been you, was saying he reminds you of a young Ronaldo.
You literally said to me, young Ronaldo. But the joke's on you, mate, because he got an assist for Crowley's goal, if I remember
Exactly.
right.
He's only off for a few minutes.
I think he's going to be a good player. And everyone here is laughing at me. And
I'm not laughing. I agree with you.
I don't know if you do. I think you're being a bit sarcastic.
I'm genuinely not. I think there's a player there.
There is a player there.
There is. I'm not joking. I agree with you.
He's not had the opportunity.
Exactly. He's not had a run of games.
Give him 2 or 3 games. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Randall hat-trick against Forest Green on the last day.
It's a bit of a mystery, though, isn't it, as to what the problem actually was? Was it his fitness? Was he picking up little niggles? Was he just not up to the standard this season?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Something that keeps popping up on my Twitter, and it's unrelated. Well, it is kind of related to Notts, but it's going to affect us. Have you seen the changes to the FA Cup?
Yeah, it's bang out of order, isn't it?
I just don't understand. Like, football's just built for the Premier League teams, isn't it?
Yeah. Have you seen the? I think the FA released it, didn't they? And it was just in coordinates with the Premier League.
Yeah. Have you seen teams starting to put statements out?
Yeah, good.
Tranmere have put one. Grimsby have put one out. Someone else has put one out. So FA Cup replays to be scrapped for the first round from from first round onwards next season. So we get a big team at Meadow Lane and the chance to draw against them and go back to their place. It's a massive money spinner. Look at what the FA Cup run did for Lincoln when they were in the championship, National League. They it's transformed the club. Now they're fighting for playoffs. Premier League's removed its mid-season break. See, that screams to me that they just don't know what they're doing. They only introduced a mid-season break like two seasons ago.
Yeah, they're always doing that, aren't they? Now they keep changing the game so much.
Yeah, I just don't understand it. I just don't know what they're achieving. But there we go. Isn't it to try and like reduce the games for Premier League teams as well?
I think
no
matter how they try and frame it, that is why, isn't it?
Yeah, but Jordan actually said it in our chat. Jordan doesn't speak a lot of sense, but he spoke in our chat. He said, "How many Premier League teams, like teams that are in Europe and the Champions League, Europa League, Champions League, how many actually get replays anyway? Not really many.
It's not many, is it? Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense. I won't be surprised to see it get overturned. To be fair,
with the storm that's caused online,
it's a bit like when they did the Super League. That got overturned, didn't it? Because there was a big media storm about it. We'll see. Do you hope Notts get involved on that? Put a statement out.
I do. But positioning on scenarios like this is so important. I think because we're sat at on the opposition of that decision, aren't we? Whereas I think if you were in the Premier League, you'd probably be in favour of that. I was only thinking this, and I know this is it's a comparison, but it's not a comparison in as the stature of the competition. But can you remember when we were about to go to a replay against Dagenham and Redbridge in the FA Trophy?
Yeah.
Everyone was thinking, no, please, no. We really don't need this. And I know it's the FA Trophy, but for teams really low down in like step 6, is it? Step 7?
Something like that.
It goes all the way down, doesn't it? Can you imagine getting like a replay against Dagenham and Redbridge or a team in the National League? It's massive. And it essentially is the same thing. And when we were in the position of being at the top end of that spectrum, our viewpoint was different, wasn't it? So
yeah,
it does make me think of I agree with I disagree with the decision that has been made, but then when you put not sitting on the fence, but broaden your horizon a little bit, you can sort of see why Premier League teams wouldn't favour it. But I also agree that how often does that happen? Do you know what I mean?
Some of those Premier League teams as well will not be Premier League teams for a long time. Look at teams like Portsmouth that went down to League Two. Look at Charlton. Fell from all those teams from where Sunderland went to League One. Interesting when one of those teams, someone like a Luton or a Bournemouth might potentially go down at some point. And whilst we're talking about the wider, amazing Callum, 8 months. Thank you so much. Whilst we're talking about the wider football, let's have a talk about Forest season ticket prices. Have you seen how much they've gone up by?
Yeah, I don't know specifics.
I know specific percentages.
Yeah, it's 20%, isn't it? But I don't know specifics as to if you pay that much.
28%.
28%. So 28%. Yeah, my friends has gone up to £700.
You don't have any friends.
Yeah, well, this is the only reason that I really knew about it. He's gone up for £700, and I said to him, "Look, is that even £100 a win?"
Has this gone up 700 or up to 700?
Up to 700.
From?
For something like 480, I think, nearly 500.
That's disgusting.
But do you know if you fell into the bracket of if you're a student, I'm not sure if Forest did a 21 to 25 season ticket, but they may have. It's because I'm sure it's like 159 or 180 pounds you could have been paying, and then all of a sudden now it's 700.
Yeah.
If your age, brackets change.
Yeah, Indica says £700 for over 40 games. Isn't that good compared to season tickets for sports here in the US? That's only for home games, Indica.
It's for 19 games.
For 19 games, yeah. So it's 700 for 19 games, and to put on top of that, you have to watch Forest as well, which they should really be paying you. So that says it all. Corey Mrs. is saying that Forest child season ticket's gone up 11%.
111.
Oh, 111%. Not sure what age bracket is. That's insane.
On the flip side of that, though, right? And I don't agree. I don't agree with this. I really don't agree with this. I just want to put that straight. But there's a massive waiting list at Forest, isn't there?
Yeah.
The owners probably see it like, if we can afford to put tickets up, we might lose a few people, but we're still going to have people fill those tickets. Unfortunately, that's the way the game's gone. And that sort of goes back to why the replays have been taken out of the game, because they're just trying to squeeze as much money as possible out of it, aren't they, at the top?
Yeah. Looks to me like a team that spent too much in the transfer window trying to claw it back.
They're not signing that many players, though, have they, since they've gone all?
No, I think they only did like that transfer window when they got like 19. I think that's it.
That's a really, really good one.
There's a good transfer window. That
good transfer window.
No wonder of that. They got points added on, didn't they, for that transfer window?
Yeah.
Got was it 4 added on?
4 added on. Just because of the
really
sublime talent
really,
that they brought in.
Good. That's really good.
Do you think they're going down, Tom?
I hope so. James says they remove the 18-25 discount bracket too. It just gets worse the more you read about it. I've seen Forest fans are fuming as well. But anyway, we're off topic. It's just interesting sometimes to talk about the wider context of football, isn't it? Because there's not that much positivity to talk about with not. So, I mean, it's not positivity we've spoken about in the wider football, but
it's something. It's definitely something.
Just bored about talking about our defensive issues all the time.
Yeah.
Baldwin slipped over, put Forest season ticket prices up. Disgrace.
Yeah, just put them on the scoreboard.
Do you know what? I wish Notts would introduce student prices. Not a student, but I think that's a massive.
Yeah, I agree with you. 100%. Yeah, there's 2. Yeah, did you just say 2 universities here?
Yeah, I'd go back to school I would just to get the discount.
I bet you would.
I sat my job in and I go on a uni course to be I don't know. What would be a good one for me?
There's so many, mate. You're just so talented. There's so many I can think of for you.
Oh, thanks, mate.
Don't cry. Oh, don't cry.
I'm all right. All right. I think it'd be like a milkman or something. Yeah. Student discount, trainee milkman.
There we go.
Score predictions to finish off then, George. What do you reckon?
Oh. I'm going to go for a 2-2.
So I'm just looking at this. It's plumber, philosophy course, proctologist, mental health nurse. I'm not sure I'll suit any of those jobs.
Definitely not philosophy.
George, head of logistics.
Don't know about that.
I wouldn't say so. Dustman.
Really welcome. Why the dustman?
There we go. So did you go 2-2?
I'm going 2-2. There you go.
I'm going 4-1 Colchester.
No way.
4-1 Colchester.
Are you actually?
I
think you've gone mad.
Zoology. You don't even know what that is himself, Jordan doesn't.
That's a documentary, isn't it? On
Football
Netflix.
Pundit. Love that. I'll go 4-1 Colchester.
Why don't you go into mug production?
Could do. Data analyst.
Can barely tie his laces, Paul. So
good job. I actually have Velcro still. So that's how I know you're lying. And my mum does my Velcro up for me. So Yeah, it's not messing about. Let's see what people have got. I'm going 4-1 Colchester. First time I predicted loss on the channel, but there we go.
Hand dry technician.
5-4. Say again.
Hand dry technician.
That's for you. 2-1 loss.
I'll do it.
3-3 last minute Colchester. 3-1 Colchester. 3-0 Notts. 5-0 Notts, no problem. 3-1. Tom and George on a pottery course, like that scene in Ghost. I'd be good on a pottery course. 2-2. Nobody's happy. True. Let's see. 3-0. We've got 1-1. 4-0 Notts. 4-1 Notts. And we'll finish with the most sensible prediction. Definitely another penalty against us on Saturday.
Definitely.
100%. 100%. Thank you for joining us this evening. That has flown by. Another Thursday evening. Only one more to go after this in terms of Pavis perspectives, previewing games. We will have a few Pavis perspectives to finish the season, recruitment, Pavis perspective, season review, etc. But we all know how those two videos are going to go. If anyone is going to the game on Saturday, enjoys. It's the last home game of the season. Enjoy as much as you can. Please do comment anything else you can think of. Check back in the description very shortly, and I'll put the link to the tickets for Neil Warnock's tour. Remember, very limited availability. Leave a like, and as always, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel.